Every spring, millions of people partake in a bizarre ritual. We hide colorful eggs, we eat chocolate rabbits, and we celebrate a holiday known as Easter. But have you ever stopped to wonder why? Why does a holiday celebrating the resurrection of Jesus Christ involve a long-eared mammal delivering hen eggs? Today, we're repeeling back the layers of history from ancient pagan festivals to Roman sun gods to find the true origin of Easter. To find the Christian roots of Easter, you first have to look at the Jewish roots of Passover, or Pesach. For over 3,000 years, Passover has commemorated the Israelites' liberation from slavery in Egypt. In the New Testament, the story of Jesus' death and resurrection takes place during the Passover festival in Jerusalem. The Last Supper was, in fact, a Seder meal. Because of this, the early Christians didn't call the holiday Easter. They called it Pascha, from the Greek word for Passover. For the first few centuries, the holiday was almost entirely focused on the Paschal lamb. It was a somber, reflective period. But as the religion spread into Europe, it bumped into a very different kind of celebration. While the Mediterranean was celebrating Pascha, the Germanic and Anglo-Saxon tribes of the north were celebrating the spring equinox. After a long, brutal winter, the return of the sun was a literal matter of life and death. They worshipped a goddess named Easter. She was the goddess of the dawn and fertility. According to the 8th century scholar Saint Bede, the month of April was known as Eostermanoth, named in her honor. When Christian missionaries arrived in northern Europe, they realized it was easier to repurpose existing festivals than to abolish them. The celebration of the resurrection was merged with the celebration of spring. Eventually, the name Easter evolved into the English word Easter. By the 4th century, the church had a problem. Nobody could agree on when Easter actually was. In 325 AD, Emperor Constantine called the Council of Nicaea. They wanted a unified date. They decided that Easter would fall on the first Sunday after the first full moon following the spring equinox. This is why Easter is a movable feast. It can fall anywhere between March 22nd and April 25th. It's a celestial calculation that bridges the gap between the moon and the sun. But what about the stuff kids actually care about? First, the eggs. Ancient cultures saw eggs as symbols of the universe. Early Christians adopted the egg as a symbol of the tomb. In the Middle Ages, eggs were a forbidden food during the 40 days of Lent. By Easter Sunday, people had a massive surplus of eggs, so they decorated them and gave them as gifts. Then, there's the bunny. This is a German export. The Easter hare first appears in writings in the 1600s. Hares and rabbits are famous for their fertility, a perfect mascot for a spring festival. German immigrants brought the tradition to America in the 1700s, and the Osterhase eventually became the Easter bunny. And why do we eat ham instead of lamb? In Europe, pigs were slaughtered in the fall and cured over the winter. By the time Easter arrived, the ham was perfectly aged and ready to eat, making it the most practical feast meat available. By the 19th century, Easter became commercialized. The Victorian era saw the rise of Easter parades and elaborate hats. In the 20th century, companies turned the holiday into a confectionery powerhouse. Today, Easter is a global phenomenon. Whether you see it as a sacred religious observance or a celebration of nature's rebirth, Easter remains one of our most enduring traditions. It's a holiday that reminds us that no matter how long the winter, spring always returns.